down to the truth. Chopping it up with Del, the Del, with Del, with Del, with Del, chopping it up. We gon' get down to the truth. Chopping it up with Del, with Del, with Del, the beat. All right. Baba, you here?
Yes. Yeah, I'm here.
Wait. All right.
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, we got Ngoma Hill tonight. This is exciting for me. I'm going to read his bio and get on with that. Ngoma is a performance poet, multi-instrumentalist, singer, songwriter, artist, and paradigm shifter who for over 50 years has used culture as a tool to raise socio-political and spiritual consciousness through work that encourages critical thought. A former member of Amiri Baraka's The Spirit House Movers and Players and the contemporary Freedom Song duo Serious Business, Ngoma weaves poetry and song that raises contradictions and searches for a solution to a just and peaceful world. Ngoma was the Prop Slam winner of the 1997 National Poetry Slam Competition in Middletown, Connecticut, and has been published in African Voices magazine, Long Shot Anthology, The Underwood Review, Signifying Harlem Review, Bum Rush the Page, Def Poetry Jam Anthology, Poems on the Road to Peace, Volumes 1, 2, and 3, Yale Press, and Let Loose on the World, Amiri Baraka at 75, The Understanding Between Foxes and Light, Great Weather for Media and New Rain, Blind Beggar Press, 35th Anniversary Issue, Amiri Baraka, Brilliant Flame, Third World Press. He was featured in the PBS spoken word documentary, The Apro Poets, with Allen Ginsberg, and Ngoma was selected as the Beat Poet Laureate of New York, Hala, for 2017 by the National Beat Poetry Foundation and the New Beat Poet Laureate in 2021. In 2022, Ngoma received a Lifetime Achievement Award for the literary and musical excellence of artivism. And Ngoma has curated and hosted the Poetry Slam at the Martin Luther King Family Festival of Social and Environmental Justice at the Yale Peabody Museum since 1995. He was also selected to participate in the 2009 Badilisha Poetry Exchange in Cape Town, South Africa. In December of 2011, he was initiated as a priest of Obatala in Ibadan, Nigeria. In June of 2013, he was initiated as a priest of Ifa. Everybody give it up for my man, the king, the Oba, Ngoma Hill. What's up, Baba?
What's up, man? How you all doing?
How you doing, man? I'm doing good, man. Hey, yes. I still can't believe I got you here. Yeah, it's no secret to anybody who knows me that you and Roya Marsh are my favorite wordsmiths, both of you. So having you here is truly an honor, man. I always call you the Oba of this spoken word thing, because in my eyes, you are. And if anybody wants that crown, then they have to wait for you to give it up. So do you feel that way about yourself, or do you see anyone else as a point for you to reach or maybe surpass?
I don't necessarily think of what I'm doing in that way. So I haven't say, okay, I should be greater than this person, or this person is less or greater. I just don't. It's not where my head is at all. You know,
I say it for you. Hey, Ngoma's the best, and Ngoma's the best. Say it over and over. Things you overcame and survived would destroy most people, or at the very least push them in the shadows. But you became stronger and paved new paths in music, arts, and self-elevation. So was it your creative arts that pushed you through, or something else?
It was. It very much was, because it gave me. I don't know. I had an echo because I got a speaker on for in case I do some music or something.
Yeah.
It was because I had decided early on that this is what I wanted to do. The way it came about basically Um, I'm a Vietnam vet, and while I was in Vietnam, my boys were sending me books. So I was reading stuff like the autobiography of Ho Chi Minh while I was in Vietnam.
Right.
I was reading like E. Franklin Frazier's Black Bourgeoisie. I was reading C.L.R. James's The Black Jacobins, which was very instrumental in my life as far as what I discovered by reading it. So one of the things that I decided I was going to do was that if I had survived, I hadn't chosen, or no Orisha or anything had chosen me to my knowledge, because I wasn't quite aware of that, because we're talking like 1968. So
Right.
a lot of stuff just wasn't out there for people to know. But nevertheless, I had decided that I wanted to dedicate my life to doing art that raises social, political, and spiritual consciousness. And I kind of like said to the Most High, I say, okay, you let me out of this.
Yeah. So that was a bridge. That was a bridge that
That's
you
what I'm gonna
got
do.
you cross over all that, man. That I hope the new generation is listening when you speak, because in my eyes, there's too many young ones that they take for granted the things that people like you had to suffer through, basically for them. When you are creating a message piece, which I feel most of your works are, does reaching the youth become part of your mission?
No, not in particular. I'm just trying to raise consciousness to people in general, and because I have to like kind of catch them where they're at. You know? And it has to be at a certain level, otherwise, what's the point? You know, so I'm not aiming necessarily for youth. I appreciate it when they, check me out and like it,
Right.
and, but that's not my, that's not, I don't.
No, I hear you. It's interesting because I work with a lot of activists. I was actually mentored by Charles Barron, a former Black Panther,
Yeah.
Richie Perez and Panama Alba. Those are all people that I work closely with. And I kind of like what you're saying there. Like, they were very into the youth because they felt like we had to save them. We had to get their minds straight before they come, before they get older, because we have no future, right? But I like what you said, that it's not just about them. Like, as far as like I'm an older person. I'm 55 now, so for me, I'm not done yet, and I still want to learn more, and I still want to be saved. So I still we all need some straightening out. So I really appreciate that. Now, Sister Soldiers, in your book, page 30. I want to, that details the abuse women in the service endure to this day.
To this day,
right?
yeah.
And I love that you took the time to inform with statistics at the end. That was like somebody probably wouldn't want to do that, want to wait to the end of the book to do that, but you wanted to make sure while the mind was still fresh from that, on that deep piece, that you put that there. And I love that. And I'll be honest, even some men like me and you who have rallied and protested and fought for justice are still blind to the plight of women. So I want to thank you for that, first of all. So how did it feel to write for these women? Was it hard knowing that some people feel the stance loses value when it's told by a man?
I read an article that gave me that information. When I read the article, it just struck me that was going on, and that people didn't know about it. More than any particular woman, but it was just
Right.
stuff people needed to know. And the women who were victims needed to know that there was somebody telling their story, even if they didn't get the opportunity to tell their story.
Exactly. I feel that way. When you were watching the news, I was watching the news and I saw a veteran protest, and there was about 15 people present. And it upset me. When you see that, does that make you, how does that make you feel, being a veteran yourself?
There were people protest.
Like when you see a rally and there's only like 15 people, 10 people, and like we should see more for people that risk their lives.
I had a really different feeling about the military because I was in it,
right,
and because I was drafted. And during the time that I was in it, I was able to read a lot and gain a real world view that was different than what was just being taught to, just pushed in my head here in the States. So I took a different attitude about it. A lot of people feel like, well, I'm a hero and all that kind of bullshit. I'm like, fuck you sucker. You got drafted, you're a sucker. Okay. So I don't really feel proud about it.
Yeah.
I don't really like uphold yay US for days and all that bullshit.
Oh, absolutely not.
I'm on the other side of that picture, so
yeah, me and my wife, we feel that same way. But in that same note, I feel being drafted, right, but being drafted, being forced to be where you didn't want to be. I would like to see more people fight for you, more things done for you, people that have been in your shoes. And that's just, it has nothing to do with, honoring the rag, the blue, red, white, and blue rag, but it's that I look at, especially
for what they went through,
and then like reading your book, I got to know you even deeper, and I'm like, it hurts more now to see things. But I mean, you do have that Ogun energy that some people don't and or are aware of, and they didn't get to defeat those like your PTSD like you were able to. And speaking of, like, one of my favorite things was fireworks, buses backfiring, make you duck for cover.
Yeah,
and you said nobody told me I was suffering from PTSD. How did you get through that, if you did get through that?
I don't know. Did I get through it?
Or is it still something you're dealing with?
I don't know that I am or that I'm not. I know that I was at that time period because I was going through a whole bunch of shit because I had just spent a year as an infantryman. I wasn't a clerk.
Right.
So all that was in my head. So it took a while.
Yeah.
It also took a while to reckon with the fact that I didn't agree with the war.
And
everybody's like, "Oh, you're so great because you've served," and I'm like, really?
Yeah, no, I hear you, man. And I, and you like, I, I don't have your book right near me, but hope you can hold it up because people could see, what I'm talking about. It's
there you go.
Yeah, when you read it, and I mean, I've always been, I'm a big fan of yours. Not just I see you, I have a kinship with you, right? But I'm in awe of the work you do since from the first time I saw you perform. But then I read that book, and then you took me into the foxholes with you, and not to experience, because I can't do that, but you allow us to smell, feel the heat, the fear, the desire to escape. You're rebelling in there. And you did all that while still keeping rhythm and flow in those pieces. I love that. Was taking us in there with our five senses intentional, with purpose, or did you just, or the words like just fall on the page like that as you felt them?
I kind of feel like I'm channeling,
Absolutely.
And sometimes after I write a poem, I go back, I look at it and say, "Yo, I wrote that." Where did that come from?
Sometimes I look back and go, "Oh my God, I wrote that. I gotta hide that."
Yeah, I got some of them.
So yeah, and your works all have a rhythm to it. where you can almost hear music behind each piece. And it's as natural as breathing, as if music is your native language almost, you know. So when you write, do you envision or hear music when you're writing your pieces, whether in your mind, or do you actually play music while you're writing?
I hear the rhythm,
Mm.
not the melody or the chords and stuff. That
Right, right.
I add music that comes later, but the rhythm of the piece comes straight up with the piece as it comes.
Yeah, like the heartbeat.
Yeah, because I'm kind of reading it out. I'm writing and then I write it and I'm reading it out loud.
Uh-huh.
You know, to see, oh, okay, this works.
Yeah.
You know, oh no, that ain't gonna work.
It's hard for me to imagine it. And I don't know. I always imagine like everything you write is awesome. And like I can't even imagine what a bad piece of yours would look like. Like, so just stuff you've never shared with the world, because everything I've seen was awesome. How many, so you play a lot of instruments. How many instruments can you play now? Not proficiently, you know, but if you counted those you got your hands on and can get by on, how many, and which one is your favorite?
Well, my favorite is violin because that was first.
Yeah.
Um,
We're 11, right?
I guess I could. No, it was 7.
7. Wow.
I guess I could like pick up maybe 10, 11, maybe 12. You know,
That's crazy.
Do a little something with it.
That's crazy.
Some of it's limited what I can do with it, but
No, but that doesn't matter. It's just that if you could just talk, you know, so when we talk to people that we don't know their language and we try, so but we can get by, that's still speaking that language, and that's what I love. So that's why I said not proficiently, but that you can get by on, because like if you could pick up an instrument and still lay a couple of notes down or something, then yeah, you play that, you know, way. So who well, are you more into music, or the music or words of a piece you create? And is it different for works from others you listen to? So like, so if you listen, when you're listening to other works, like maybe artists, are you into like your, let's say, I mean, I love Stevie Wonder. He's my favorite artist. So I listen to him and I enjoy his words, right? More than his voice and music, even though they're both awesome as well. But
yeah, I hear you.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm more into his words too. All I'm into his music is great, fantastic.
right,
The message is in the words. Somebody said, "Well, why don't you play jazz?" No, and I said, "Okay, well, jazz is cool, but jazz can be interpreted by the listener. So if I have a specific message I want to get to you, I don't want you to interpret it. I want to give it to you.
Nice. Nice.
I don't want you to guess
Yeah. And
about
I
what I'm
mean,
trying to say."
yeah, you know, it's something, because I keep going back to your book because it's an amazing book, first of all. But when I was reading your book, I thought about what you just said, because sometimes I write and it's kind of cryptic. I was first influenced by a song from George Clinton, the Doodle Chasers. You know, well, with Funkadelic, it was Parliament or Funkadelic, I can't remember. Funkadelic. And it was real cryptic, but I got it. And sometimes I write that way. And then when I was reading yours, it's like, this is what I'm saying. You know, there's no mistaking it, you know. And I wanted to get into doing something more like that. So who are, you know, I mentioned Stevie for me, but who are your musical inspirations?
Of course, Stevie. A lot of blues and folk singers were my primary inspiration as far as music of struggle. You know, I studied music. I was a music major. I attended the State University, and I played a bunch of instruments while I was there. But the thing that we couldn't do at that time, so I'm talking like 60, 67, 68, 69, was you couldn't study jazz. There was no jazz curriculum. And the only curriculum for music majors was European classical music.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, and that's a good base to have, but it's just so narrow. And
Absolutely.
it was so frustrating to me that I ended up changing my major in my junior year. And then I couldn't really keep up interest. School, I had just reached the point where school was like, this is like, why am I doing this? So I skipped the semester, and when I skipped the semester, I got drafted into the Army, you know? And it was really jacked because if you read in the poems and whatnot, I had just got married. I got married like in December. I got married in August, and I got my draft notice in December to report in January, you know? So it was an interesting trip. Besides some of the stuff that I don't talk about in it was, I went to officers candidate school, artillery officers candidate school. And I found out that they were sending the young Black lieutenants as forward observers, and it was getting wiped out. So I decided I ain't want to be here.
No.
I didn't want to do that. So I quit the school, and when I quit the school, they gave me like a month's leave, and then they sent me to Vietnam as a PFC infantry.
Right.
Okay, so anyway.
Now at that time when you were in school, you wouldn't get drafted. Was that the rule back then?
You're right. Yeah.
Oh, so you kind of Well, you know what? That was the road for you, though. You know, I wish you didn't have to go through that, but then I wouldn't have this book. No, but so you mentioned the blues. I always I'm kind of backtracking because a lot of people.
Oh, what musicians? I like Odetta. You know, I came up through one of the periods when I was doing what we call contemporary freedom music.
Yeah.
And people called it folk music, in the so-called established people call it folk music, but we call it contemporary freedom music, my ex-wife and I.
Right.
3 albums under the name Serious Business. And 2 of them are on the Folkways label, and they're in the Smithsonian. You can still cop them.
Nice. We have to check that out.
And a lot of the music influence was like different people that I associated with during that time, like Pete Seeger, like Odetta, like Richie Havens.
You know, you need to add this on your bio. That's pretty big, man. I know people don't know that Jimi Hendrix was a blues artist, and his music, because of the heavy metal, the way he did it, they just call it rock, even though you know, it's the timing of it, the structure of it, it's still all blues. And that's one of mine also. I like a lot of his music because he got into another world, although I know he was kissing the sky at the time, but but he did his thing. Who are your poetic inspirations?
Well, of course, Amiri Baraka, early Haki Madhubuti, Sonia Sanchez, Askia Muhammad Touré, in particular.
Yeah. It's hard. I when I thought about that question, I said, well, how can anybody inspire the one that's supposed to be inspiring everybody else? Yeah, because
Louis Reyes. Did you ever meet Louis Reyes Rivera?
Yes, he put me in his book.
Okay.
The Bandana Republic. Yeah. That was my first time getting published, him and Bruce George.
Oh, okay.
Put me in that book, and yeah, the good people, man, very good people.
Yeah.
And you've mostly been a performing artist as opposed to one that writes mainly for print. And I said recently that I learned when witnessed that some pieces I wrote for the stage didn't go over well when they read it. So Was writing this book challenging in that respect? And did you find yourself changing up the piece to adapt to the page? Because you usually write to
I just
music.
wrote it. I just put it in just like it had been written.
Right, right.
I write in stanzas like that.
Mm-hmm.
The way the line breaks, so that
Right.
you have to be a poet to just read
Yeah.
it.
But you still hear the music when you're reading your work
Oh, yeah,
still.
yeah.
It's awesome. Tell me, what exact moment led you to Ifa? You mentioned in Vietnam, you mentioned Ogun a lot, but I think that was kind of like you were getting guided at that point.
Yeah. Um, well, let's see.
I mean consciously, because of course we're all, we're
Yeah, consciously.
you're guided by it from birth. But yeah.
It just took me so long to get to that point.
Mm,
Well, I was saying while I was in Vietnam, um, I was reading this book, The Black Jacobins by C.L.R. James. And what the Black Jacobins is about is the Haitian Revolution. When they talk about the Haitian Revolution, they talked about how the Haitians used voodoo to overcome the French.
right.
So I'm like, whoa, that's deep. So on the band of my helmet, or in my helmet, I wrote Ogun.
Ah.
I wrote Ogun Forel be with me. And although I was the infantryman and all that kind of shit, I didn't receive not a scratch
Nice.
all year. Now let me tell you the other part. I had a sergeant that used to, not a sergeant, it was the medic. The medic used to give brothers turns going into the base camp and to chill. And so he gave me, time to go in the base camp. And while I was in the base camp, the guy who was the clerk went on his R&R. So while he was on his R&R, the top sergeant said, "Can you type?" And I said, "Yeah, I could type." He says, "Okay, well, you can be the clerk while he's gone." While he was gone, the company got hit and almost the whole damn company got wiped out. Okay? So I attributed it to Ogun.
Absolutely.
Okay? So then when I came back, I'm looking for Ogun for years before I actually found somebody that could actually lead me to somebody that knew somebody that knew somebody that knew somebody that was willing.
Yeah, man. You had
So
a real
back there. So I went through a whole bunch of changes. The rest of the whole, there's a lot of experiences and stuff that I went through, reaching the point to I met somebody that
yeah, that was the point. That was your starting point. Absolutely. And you reminded me of and I hope I say this right because I don't have the book in front of me, but you had a free Orisha protecting you when you, because I remember in your book how you write, it's funny, not funny, but it's awesome. What uses what let me know if I'm saying this wrong. What uses your God if his hands and feet are nailed to the cross? And I was like, wow.
I
Wow.
got that line from Oshun Yo.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. That was a great line right there. I loved it, man. Thank you. Thank you, Oshun Ying. If you could go back in time, when and where would you go?
If I could go back in time,
You probably want to time travel forward.
really? I don't want to go back. Maybe Egypt, maybe Kemet.
Really? Yeah, yeah. Because I figured if same here, if I was gonna go back, I'd go way back,
Way back.
way back. Yeah. Is that so? Is the news harder for you these days to? And I know I can tell, you're an avid reader of the news, or you watch it, you criticize it, you see the fakeness in it, you see what's real. But for me, it's harder now, and I wondered, like for you.
The news is damn depressing. I was telling somebody the other day, I said, I'm glad I'm not getting younger. Because the future don't look too pretty.
Doesn't look. I know, man. It's depressing as hell, man. Yeah. Who do you feel more? When do you feel more inspired to create? Day or night? I do 3 in the morning. That's when I'm normally writing.
I don't do nothing at 3 in the morning. Sleep. I write.
Yeah.
I write now because I had a 9 to 5, and I would, during the course of my 9 to 5 during the day, I'd be writing up still.
Mhm.
But now that I am retired from my 9 to 5, I'm mostly writing in the afternoon.
Yeah, that I don't think I'm ever gonna get to retire, but hopefully if I do, that would be nice in the daytime. Yes. I woke up since 3, and I grew up in the Bronx, and then in the Upper West Side of Manhattan in the projects, and I used to wake up really early just to see the bird. First in the Bronx, I liked the way the sun used to shine on the broken glass on the floor.
Mm.
And while other people found that ugly, I found that beautiful. So I used to like watching that. So I never went away. I just now to this day, no alarm clock needs to wake me. I get up at 3 in the morning. And that's when I'm more inspired. Who's your who's your well, no, I already asked you that question and you didn't say me, so I was like, well, forget it. What music was playing in your home as a child, and did any of that music influence you?
Yeah, rhythm and blues was playing in my house, and gospel.
Mm-hmm.
Primarily,
Nice.
that's what was playing. My father used to like Duke Ellington and just like big band music.
Right, right.
And they used to go to dances that the fraternities and whatnot would have, and they'd be like tucks down and whatnot.
Yeah.
So I was playing big band music, a lot of church music. My parents,
Mm-hmm.
serious church people, so we played a lot of church music and played a lot of rhythm and blues. At
And
least I did.
yeah. And so that did influence you, obviously.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And then so what was the biggest lesson you learned from the people that raised you?
Oh, nobody ever asked me that before.
I I go deep. See, you know what? I did this because I met good people and I keep seeing them interviewed, and nobody wanted to know, like, well, what do you like better, birds or flowers? And I want people to know the people, like, more than just what they do.
I think what I learned the most from them was a good work ethic.
Mm, yeah.
Yeah, I mean
And now and
that's
nowadays we need that more, these kids.
right, exactly. But I always had a job,
Yeah.
and besides doing the art too,
Mhm.
because since my art was social criticism, it's difficult to make money criticizing
Right.
government.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So you got to do something else.
Yeah, yeah.
You got to
Yeah,
eat.
I've been working since 11 years old, man. I get it. I get it. So that since you mentioned art, I want to ask, because I keep forgetting to mention this, is who did that cover? That beautiful artwork.
Ibo Mandingo,
Nice.
brother from Bridgeport.
Oh, so
Right.
Oshun Ying, if you're hearing this, can you put that in the chats? People could look him up, because that was beautiful. Yeah, how did he do that for you? Was it a gift?
He's not. He's an artist. He's
Yeah. I-
and the the picture that he did for the cover came from a photo that Oshun Ying took.
Ah,
Yeah.
nice. I love it. So
Um,
how do you feel about today's music?
I don't listen to it.
You don't like it, huh?
I was watching one of those shows where they give the awards and whatnot,
Right.
and I didn't know nobody.
Yo,
I think it was maybe one or two people that I had heard of, like Kendrick Lamar, and
yeah.
and B, you know.
Yo, if Cat was on the
But the rest of them, I was
local,
like, who is this?
yeah.
And what the hell are they saying and why?
Yeah, we were saying the same thing in the last award show we watched. We were like, who are those people? Like, and we all, including myself. I mean, even though I play the Skins, but a lot of my electronic music is so easy. You know, it's not what the artists before me were doing. So I get someone like you who can play 12 instruments and then you hear something and you're like, oh, I don't, what is that?
Yeah, man. There's a lot of that going on.
So I wrote created only revolutionary art for like a real long time, like when I was with Charles Barron and Richie Perez
I like the
and
machete movement. That shit is
yeah, machete movement too. Yeah, and when I only started mixing in non-revolutionary pieces in 2015 because I mean I was taking Latania's workshop and everybody was felt that I was this angry guy, and it felt like it was consuming. I was consuming myself in anger, and I needed balance. But and your book and works are mainly purposeful revolutionary art. That's what I'm going to call it because it's
okay.
purposeful and it's revolutionary and it's art. So do you ever see yourself moving your art slightly in a different direction to do some? I mean, you got a great, you do have love pieces too. So what, like I'm not saying change who you are, because hell no, don't do that. But I'm saying, would you ever do you ever feel like the urge, like, you know what, I want to write something happy today?
I don't write happy shit because I ain't happy.
That's like Chuck D said, I don't rhyme for the sake of riddling. I know, I get it, man. I was there for a long time, and I mean, I just like this is all new for me since 2015 when I started. Because
you know Chris Slaughter?
Yeah,
Yeah, 'cause I got that line from Chris Slaughter. He got
yeah.
I don't write happy shit because I ain't happy shit.
Absolutely. No, and I get it, and like in that album, I don't know, that's my favorite rap group, Public Enemy. I don't know if you like them or not, but they got a sample that says I got a right to be angry, and I felt that way, you know, and that's why I was, when people would say, why don't you do something happy, I would say, no, I'm angry and I got a right to be angry. But yeah, I know, but it was eating me up, so I just had to twist a little bit. So but now you also have some beautiful,
like, yeah, I'm angry. Why are you not angry?
Exactly.
I want to know.
But you have you and I know this is coming. I was once gonna write a book called All for Our Share, right? Because I want to do a book just all about Ifa, the Orishas, and my experience with that. And I decided not to do it yet, but I think that's probably in your head. If it's not, I want to put it in there because I'd love to read a whole book themed of not just Ifa based poetry, but your path in Ifa. Like, you know, you did a poetic what do you call that again? Like it's kind of a biography that you wrote, but it's poetic. So I would love to see the same thing done by you with Ifa. That's probably in your head already, right?
No, it's not really. I'll tell you
Can
why.
I put it there?
I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
I just came into Ifa like 11 years ago.
Right.
And there's so much that I don't know.
Right.
I just feel silly.
Really, I think, see,
like,
for me, your experience alone that you talked about, is volumes. Like the story of which is in this book too, but when you put Ogung on your hat, there's a few verses in that you can your path alone fills up at least a chapbook. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I would love to see that from you. I'm gonna put it in your head, and hopefully it goes somewhere with that, because I never get enough of you. So that's something I would like to see. Okay. So now, what can we expect next from you?
I'm just trying to sell this book.
Yes.
You know what? I published it myself.
Awesome.
And I'm trying to at least recoup my money.
Absolutely, yeah.
Really, I hope that it catches on and people will read it, and it'll be a really bestseller.
It can be. It's amazing. I love it. As soon as I found out you put it out, I got it right away. So
produce art in spells.
Say it again.
I produce art in spells. No, I don't. You know,
Yes.
some people write every day, or they can write every day.
Uh-huh.
I can't do that.
Right, right.
I guess I could because I used to do the National Poetry Writers Month 30/30 challenge. I
Yeah.
did that for like 9 years in a row.
Yeah. I stopped. I tried.
You know, so but still, that's just for a month. You know, so what? And then you got 11 more months. You know, so
Yeah.
I do spells as things come to me, and I do different things. For a while, I might be writing something. Another while, I might be creating some music, or I might just be working on a particular instrument, trying to get my chop up so I can put
Mhm.
music. You know, lately I've been working with a 3-string cigar box guitar.
I saw that. Yes.
That's
Beautiful.
my new baby.
Yeah. And
Um,
when you're in Chicago, you got to make sure you look me up. We're gonna record some stuff together. Get my congas out. We're gonna rock it out.
Yeah.
So this last part is a no cap APAC. So I'm just gonna ask you choices just to get to know you a little better, and you're just gonna pick one of those choices, and so we can know which one you like better. Ready?
Okay.
Gil Scott Heron or Last Poets?
Gil Scott Heron.
Hip hop or R&B?
Hip hop or R&B. I like progressive hip hop. And I like R&B. So I like both.
Congas or djembe?
Djembe.
Brooklyn or Bronx?
Bronx.
Ballad or
I lived in
bullet?
the Bronx for a minute. You know.
Nice. Yes, absolutely. All day, every day. Ballad or bullet?
Bullet.
Jazz or blues?
It's the same thing.
Nice. Water or juice?
Juice.
Elephant or whale?
Elephant or whale?
Yeah, which one do you like better?
Elephant.
Of course you got to. That's all about the last. Come on. Well, all right. Well, that's the end, man. And you think, man, I appreciate you doing that for me. So now the floor is yours, my brother. The king is up. You can do whatever you want.
I can do whatever I want to do. Hold on.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is the almighty 3-string. Thing on. So this is the 3-string cigar box guitar. When Africans were brought here and enslaved, they didn't have instruments, and they made instruments out of whatever they could find to make instruments out of. And one of the things that they made an instrument of was out of cigar boxes. This one's kind of upscale because it's got a pickup on it, and it's got all kind of toys. It's not acoustic, but you'll hear it. I didn't come on the Mayflower, came on a good ship, Jesus. I'm a start Matilda, Henrietta Marie, chain bound and shackled, from Gory till Amina Castle, copper and Manila, sugar and tobacco. You ain't paid your dues, Stopped on Ebo Landing, try to walk on water. I'm a runaway, I'm a renegade, I'm a son of a dusty daughter. Jim Beach in Charleston, any other maroons, Nat Turner and John Brown, Harriet Tubman, freedom bound. You ain't paid your dues. You ain't paid your dues. You ain't paid your dues. To sing my blues, to sing. Work from sun up to sundown. Black babies sold by the pound. Ancestors buried in hallowed ground. You ain't paid your dues. Whole world seemed like a big plantation. I'm just trying to give her reparations, cause now you ain't paid your dues. You ain't paid your dues. You ain't paid your dues. To sing my blues, to sing my blues. Did you come on the Mayflower? Came on a good ship, Jesus. I'm a star, Matilda. Aaron Marie. Shane Van and Shackle. From Gory till Mean and Castle. Copper and Manila. Sugar and tobacco. You ain't paid your dues. You ain't paid your dues. You ain't paid your dues. To sing my blues, to sing my blues. Little something. Oh boy. Just a second. Gotta cut off this and cut on that. What I'm doing? Something from the book. What do you want me to do? You got a request?
Yeah, do something from the book.
From the book.
You know what I like too? The Corona section.
Okay, here's from the Corona Chronicles. SOS on the new Titanic. Trumple skin thin champion nose grower in contest with Pinocchio. Cloud follow him like Joe Blips in Little Abner. Captives jump ship like new slaves, blindfolded by reality. Google idiot, his face appear in multiples. Ego playing chicken with Cashman's payroll. Stick-up kid with no gun, demands $6 billion for a wall. Kickbacks guaranteed. The kingdom is for sale to the highest bidder. Gentrification in the White House in the middle of Chocolate City. Et tu, Brute? Dominoes falling like a house of cards. Pressure soon burst like a water pipe. Force of the empire, 20,000 strong, back home from Syria to guard the wall along the border in this alternative reality governed on Twitter. Airplanes don't exist in a universe of I told you so. The prophet asks, will you listen to the writing on the walls of your consciousness this time? You. Pick up whatever you can pick up. A real education is important. Ignorance is expensive. Otherwise, one could go through life too dumb to know you're dumb, too stupid to know you're stupid, and too racist to know you're a racist. It may even call the selection of a president who can't tell the bad guys from the bad guys. It's a real problem when you watch a Fox channel, not realizing it's the fox guarding the henhouse, thinking CNN, the FBI, and CIA intelligence are fake news. You can't put the genie back in the bottle or make the president presidential while the world's being turned upside down, leaving global warming deniers in charge. And we're stuck at trying to figure out if the so-called Constitution is constitutional. Actually, everybody is an immigrant except victims of the transatlantic slave trade and indigenous First Nation people. The real homeland security should take back Mexico, Texas, California, and Florida too. In fact, maybe everybody should be deported whose descendants came in boats. Mexicans should put up a wall to keep Cheetah out. You do realize that war is profitable, but the US hasn't won one since 1945. Seems like the new Confederacy is south of Canada. Trump will skin thin and see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil cabinet, turns a blind eye to hurricanes in Puerto Rico, California burning, mudslides, massive oil leaks in the North Pole meltdown, seem like deja vu. 20,000 years in a cave can do strange things to a person's mind. So these so-called white supremacists are under some kind of illusion that they are supreme and neo-slavery can make America great again. Seems to me it's time to wake up from this nightmare called the American dream, because these misleaders change the rules of the game faster than they change draws, why you don't even realize that it is a game. But there can be no peace without justice, and we keep forgetting to forget that justice and laws are two different conversations. So look here, Lucy, we got a problem. While we're discussing sexual misconduct, the shithole in the Oval Office is sodomizing the whole damn world without a grease or a kiss. The Kremlin's got remote control of the White House, and he's trying to make you think taking the knee was about the anthem and the blood-splattered banner. Meanwhile, blue lives still murder, while black lives matter. Sickos want to make you think pedophilia is normal and should be legal, but there's a secret pedophile ring in the Vatican. What would Jesus say? Why do black people get emotional over the description of Jesus dying on a cross, but not from black men still hanging from trees? We've gone from pyramids to plantations to projects to prisons, standing on the edge of tomorrow, not making good decisions, not realizing that they're killing democracy softly. We are the ones we've been waiting for. And as we fiddle while Rome burns, the world thinks we're suckers, wondering WTF you waiting on you to fit in where you fit in and pick up whatever you can pick up. Meantime, we suffer from a lack of knowledge, distracted with bullshit like running Oprah for president, when we should be finding a way to talk about impeaching POTUS and ending the Electoral College. How about our civil rights got short-circuited? We need to fight for self-determination. In fact, make this go viral, a luta continua. The struggle still continues for our liberation. So, you know.
Amazing, man.
You know, we roll like that, you know.
You roll like that, man. You there's only one Ngoma, man.
Palm Sunday's ritual. We go to Kings, pick up 2 pigeons and 2 hens, carry them to Queens. Curious subway onlookers quietly ponder why there are chickens but no dog or cat in the pet carrier crate. The lady in red goes to receive Oya, but Shango demands a rooster. We pass by churches, parishioners carry palms. Lately, I find myself examining such contradictions. The gifts of Ifa and Obatala came to me at Christmas. The world is in such chaos, I seek relief from cowboy culture, from the land where my forefathers were stolen, returning to old time religions, following ancestors' visions, wondering what use is your God with his hands and feet nailed to a cross. Each morning in my shrine room, I prostrate and pray to Orisis. Babalawos read the secrets, the matter spread for his Okwele. Ianifa read 256 Odus with 16 calories. Ma'at has 42 laws. 10 commandments seem trite and insignificant in comparison. So soon we forget there is but one God. No matter what you call it, the creator remains the same. There are many paths to the mountaintop. Time is unimportant to a tree. All things are connected. There is no life without water. The evening blesses us with rain. In a world of war and contradictions, we leave a bow at the crossroads and pray for peace.
My man, thank you, man. Thank you.
Thank you.
Man, this is a blessing for me. You have no idea. Can you do me a favor? Can you put first plate up, hold your book up again? There we go. There we go. Look, he is actually dressed just like.
Oh, hold up.
Yes.
There you go.
A little more to the left.
Video. There you go.
All right. Yeah. Now, if someone can put the link up in the chat, that'll be awesome because we want to make sure it's available at Lulu. I know that. I don't know if you're doing any personal signing of it, Ngoma.
I'll do a personal signing of it, but the thing about it is, if I do a personal signing of it and I have to mail it to you, you have to pay the mailing.
Absolutely. Let them listen. You are in Ngoma Hill. We're not gonna. You can't short step. No half stepping. Whatever you want for that, you're gonna ask for it, and they're gonna give it to you. So let's tell them. You
Okay,
know.
Give me just a second. I got the link somewhere here where.
Yeah. And then let me know how they can reach you, where they can besides all over YouTube, where they can see you. Conversations with Eshu is it's on Apple Music for all of you who have Apple Music. Check it out.
I think this is it. Let's see. Yeah, that's it.
And Ngoma, do you have a Cash App or Venmo or Zelle?
I do. I have Cash App.
Let's put them all up there, man.
Okay, chat. Okay, this is where you can get the book. Edit, paste.
Boom, it's in the chat. And there's gonna be
Cash App is
and there's tons of people watching live. So hey Kat, if you could jump in that live feed and put the link there, please, or someone.
That's my Cash App there.
Awesome. Notice the dollar sign in the front.
Yep.
It's serious. we're not playing, man. It's awesome. All right, so that I just experienced the best of the best. Like I say, the king of this spoken word thing. Fight me if you don't believe me. We got Thomas Fucaloro coming next September 9th. We got Chance coming October 21st. It's gonna be awesome. And remember, knowledge not applied is wasted energy. And we out of here. Yo, Ngoma, thank you. Blessings.
Thank you.
Share, brother. Lafia.
Lafia.
Meet me at the crossroads where dreams are stitched together in indigo midnight scenes. When Legba appears, partaking of prayers and palm oil, sacrosanct yet surreptitious, to marry soul to gold, turning potential into credential. Meet me at the crossroads where Anansi is not an anachronism, no, but an analogy to live by, the riddled response to the question, a living, breathing, waking, working, walking wisdom, revered in folk tales, the ancient answer to life's most puzzling contradictions. Meet me at the crossroads, Orita Meta, where heaven touches the earth, where thought and manifestation intertwine. Hear aptitude in action, chant prayers to Eshu, who works miracles to make maybe a reality. Watch talent become prodigy, witness practice and determination carved by inspiration, as divinely generated genius becomes a finished product for all to see. Meet me at the crossroads way down deep in the Delta at the junction of Old Dockery Road and Highway 8, where that old blues man, Robert Johnson, cried out to Legba and invoked the glory of his fate. Better yet, meet me in Clarksdale, Mississippi at the intersection of Highway 61 and 49, where the earth unveils its magic, consecrated by intercessions, rum, and intent. Its aura radiating the power of ritual made habitual through repetition and time. Don't be surprised who comes there whispering prayers to Legba in the cobalt of midnight, their incantations and supplications enshrined by African aphorisms. Yes, these crossroads, visited by Louis Armstrong, Honey Boy Edwards, B.B. King, Bessie Smith, Billie Holiday, Alberta Hunter, Howling Wolf, Muddy Waters, Little Walter, Nina Simone, John Lee Hooker, your great-great, beyond great-grandparents too, shape-shifting in the shadows, adding ashe to your libations, lauding Legba to lift your aspiration to realization. Meet me at the crossroads where human meets divine. Yes, where spirits gather. And don't be afraid. The only demons at midnight are echoes of white hoods gowned in hate, a disembodied apprehension of those who criminally coerced you into giving your back to your ancestral traditions, the wellspring of your strength. See them gripping torches of terror, burning the crossroads symbol of your power, masquerading as an effigy of their god, a stolen and weak apparition of Osar. There are no deals with the devil made in this sacred space, only dates with destiny, and Olodumari's affirming smile shining as stars in space. Meet me at the crossroads. Ashe.